so on. Good morning. This morning, when I went for my morning walk, I did a new mantra. I always do breathe in, breathe out, and I follow my breath. So as I breathe in, I say to myself, breathing in. Breathing out. As I breathe out, I say breathe out. And then after a while, after I walk for a while, I just go in, out. But I follow my breath, and that calms my mind. It makes me feel very serene, very calm, and it clears, becomes very clear, almost like a plate of glass, like a lake that's very calm. This morning I added 2 words. I added the word tolerance and the word respect. So as I walk, I would say, breathe in, tolerance. Breathe out, respect. Breathing in, tolerance. Breathing out, respect. And then after a while, I just would go, on my in-breath, I would go tolerance in, respect out. Tolerance in, respect out. I hope that the Mandarin, the script that I have here, I did it from Google again. I always do Google, but it is supposed to be exactly what I have on here. Now, as I meditated on tolerance and I meditated on respect, and I thought of those kinds of things, I come with something in the Western world that we call the Golden Rule. And the Golden Rule is something that says that I should treat you like I would want you to treat me. And I thought that is, first of all, being tolerant of other people and differences that they might have, or that their culture might have, and then showing respect. So it was a meditation, tolerance, respect, which really refers to what I call the Golden Rule. When I got home, I was thinking about that because I thought I would make this little tape, and I was reminded of some essays, some writings that I had done, and I just got on the computer and I printed out 2 of my writings, things that I wanted to just pick out the most important points from. Last spring, I had written an article for the newspaper that was called Are We Very Different? And it was an article written because people in America oftentimes will fight and argue about values, about religious values. Oh, my religion is correct, your religion is wrong, I'm right, you're wrong. And I began to think about that, and I thought, you know, people are people. They're not really very different. So I did some research, and I wanted to look at the various wisdom traditions, the great sages of the world, if you wish, like Confucius and Jesus Christ and Muhammad, these great religious and spiritual leaders. And I began to look for the Golden Rule, because I have been told that every tradition is based on the Golden Rule. In other words, on tolerance and on respect. So first I looked at Judaism, Jewish religion, and I read, and I quoted, "What is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor." This is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. So one of their great leaders was saying that it is the golden rule that is important. All the rest of the things that they teach in their writings is secondary. The primary, most important thing is the golden rule. Then I went to look for Islam, Muhammad, and I quote from their writings. Not one of you is a believer until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. Again, the golden rule said in somewhat different words. And then I was looking at the Analects of Confucius, looking at Confucianism, and I read this: try your best to treat others as you would wish to be treated yourself, and you will find that this is the shortest way to benevolence. Now, benevolence meaning kindness, goodness, fairness. So, in the tradition of Confucius, we have the golden rule again. And then I went to Buddhism, and I was looking for a quote there, and I read, just as I am, so are they, just as they are, so am I. So you are like I am like you, which says I treat you like I would like you to treat me. Then I went to the Christian Bible and the Christian tradition, which is the tradition in my country. In the United States, most people are Christians. And I read, so whatever you wish that men would do to you, do so to them. For this is the law and the prophets. And that's out of the Christian writings, the Christian Bible. Again, it's the golden rule. I looked at Hinduism. India is primarily Hindu. And I quoted again from their scriptures. This is the sum of duty. Do not unto others what you would not have them do unto you. Again, the golden rule. Tolerance and respect. And finally, I wanted to look at it from an atheistic or humanistic viewpoint, which was non-religious. And so I quoted Linus Pauling, who's a scientist and a humanist, and he said, humanism is a philosophy of joyous service for the greater good of all humanity, of application of new ideas of scientific progress for the benefit of all. Again, he's looking at all people, and things should be done for the benefit of all people, for the benefit of all nations, the benefit of all groups, ethnic groups, and for the benefit of all humanity. And I finished this by saying there's congruity in the views of the groups represented above. In other words, all of these major groups agree. Would it not be wise to consider the good that comes from this common understanding of our responsibilities to fellow travelers on planet Earth? Yes, I have responsibilities to people on this earth. You have responsibilities to people on this earth. We are all of this planet. We are all living on earth, and what I do affects you, and what you do affects me, and what your country does affects my country, and what my country does affects your country, and this goes on all the time. So, the golden rule is the basic, number one, most important rule that I can find anywhere in all of the reading that I do. I had written many years ago a graduation talk, and I wrote it for students in America, and I was trying to point out to them what the realities were in the world today. And I'm just going to look at some of it, because I think it's applicable whether you're a student in Taiwan, whether you're a student in Japan, Thailand, England, France, in an African nation. It matters not. We live in an interconnected world. No question about it. You will be able to watch me. I will have a message from Luke Lynn, another from Kevin perhaps, and from Tina. I may speak to one of them in the morning tomorrow on Skype. So we do live in an interconnected world. This new world features instant communications worldwide. With this connectivity, as it's called, connectivity, we do business, we work together on scientific engineering, we work together in education as we're doing right now, People work together with medicine and many other ways that we work together with people from around the world. We share. We work together for the common good. When I'm talking to my American students, I tell them certain things. First, I tell them, you know, most people in the world are not Americans. I say most people in the world are not Caucasians. Most people in the world do not speak English. Most people in the world are not Christians. And most people in the world live under governments that are different than ours. And even the countries that have democratic governments that are similar to ours will be somewhat different. And in some of these situations, in some of these nations, they are much older than we are. So they have learned an awful lot from their ancestors and from their people that have come before them. So they are wise. They have learned a lot. And what I'm trying to say to my students in America is that, look, our culture is our culture, and that is the way we have learned. We've learned it from our ancestors and from the people that came before us. People in other places have experienced the world in somewhat different ways and have learned different customs. And then I go on, and there's something that I really like. Our President Obama, when asked if America was an exceptional nation, if the United States was exceptional, special, he said, sure, the United States is special. The United States is special to Americans. In France, France is special to the French. In Taiwan, Taiwan is special to the Taiwanese. In Japan, Japan is special to the Japanese. Yes, we are special to us, they are special to them. So in other words, we're all equal. We all are equal. And then the last thing that I say when I speak is always something like this. I'll say, above all else, I tell my children and students to develop tolerance and understanding for those who have chosen different paths and different traditions. The measure of a human being is not in possessions, it is not in how much they own or what they have, how fancy a house, or how big a car, or how much money. It isn't in power, how powerful they are. That is not the measure of a human being. And being famous, being a famous athlete or a famous actor or a famous teacher, that may be good. But that is not what defines a person. The word that defines a human being is character. In other words, it is what is inside. It is what we call character that is most important in a human being. Shishi, for listening to me this morning. I hope to speak to you again. Jian, bye-bye.